Today we are going to do data analysis, and the most important or the core point or the core presentation for this analysis is the multiple response analysis. How do we analyze a questionnaire which has multiple answers? That is what we are going to cover today. Analysis of multiple response variable. First question to ask yourself is what is a multiple response variable? And a good example of a multiple response variable is when you are allowed to take more than one answer, right? You are allowed to take more than one answer. And a good example, you may encounter a question in a questionnaire that asks you what is your household's source of income, right? You may tick farming, non-farming business, formal employment, remittances. So you can select one of those ones, right? Not one. You can even select more than one. You can even select all of them, right? And the technique that we use to analyze this kind of data is what we call the multiple response answers. So we are going to analyze answers from multiple selection. So and let's insert some simple data. Let me delete these ones. We will create a simple data for demonstration. Then from there you can apply the same concept in your other analysis. So let's take these ones. This question: what is your household's source of income, right? So let's write our first variable as source of income. Oh, we have to use the underscore, right? Source of income. Let's say this is a string variable, and decimal. Okay, let's try to define these selections. We have number one, farming and non-farming business, formal employment, and remittance. If you are very keen yesterday, you remember I told you that the compiler will not understand what is farming unless you assign farming to a specific number, right? That is when the compiler can be able now to do mathematical calculations based on those values. So we define these answers inside what? Inside our variable. So you just use the value column. So you click on these three dots. So our first value, number one, will represent farming. After writing farming, you click on add. The second variable is non-farming business, right? Non-farming business. Non-farming business, click on add. The other one is formal employment. Number 3 is formal employment. Which is the other one? Remittances. Number 4 is remittances. Then you click add and click OK. Click OK. So that's the source of income. Which other? The other thing that we can define here, let's take gender. Define a variable called gender. So we define gender, and number 1 we define male. So male, click add. The second one we define female. We define female, click add and click OK. So we reduce this number of decimals to 0. So measure, let's take nominal. Okay, let's insert some data now. Okay, up to that point, nani haja kamata what we are doing? Frida, are you practicing with your machines? Mr. George Olwatch, welcome back to the spring of knowledge. This is where we talk of data on daily basis. So welcome back. If you don't understand any question or any progress, just feel free to ask the question. Priska, are you demonstrating with your machine? In your machine? Frida, I want to hear your voices, guys.
Yes.
Okay. Now what we are going to do is to insert some values now, right? So source of income, you can write any value between 1 and 4. So between 1 and 4. Just insert any values between 1 and 4. Just any value between 1 and 4. I want to insert 20 values. Here they are. On genders, insert values between 1 and 2. Oh. So we clear these ones. Here we have. Okay, we have our data. Let me align these data katikati. So align them at the center. Now, while your data is in this format, you can click on this icon to convert, to view from numeric to from number to the text, right? from number to the text. Just click on this icon and see what is happening. So you can see we have male source of income, right? We have these values. Remember, we defined those numbers on the value column here. Now let's go back to our presentation. So at least now we have the data, right? We are going to do analysis of multiple response questions, the MRQ. Now, to enter such kind of data in SPSS or Excel, each of the item in your list or option becomes a variable of its own. So you can use 0 to mean that it was not selected, and 1 to mean it was selected. So the first option of summarizing such a question, such a variable, is to do descriptive statistics, but the only problem is that you will end up with too many irrelevant tables with irrelevant information. So let's demonstrate. We have the source of income. We have the source of income. And for demonstrations, that's why I have decided we have only these two columns, because writing this the whole columns from farming, non-farming, business, formal, the 4 columns, right? Unaweza ziandika on the variable itself, right? From there, we use zeros and 1. We can use 0 and 1 to say whether it was selected or not. But now, for our case, we are using values from 1 to 4 to check the number of selections per multiple, right? So the process is very simple. Our next step is to define the multiple response questions, and you just click on analyze. From there, browse up to the multiple response, and we define variable set first, because you can see that we have frequencies here. See there, we have frequencies here, we have cross tabulations here, but they are not active because we don't have any, we haven't defined any variable. We have not defined any variable. So you click on define variable sets, and let's see, just a minute. Suppose in that list you want to select only men's, so we use the 1. From there, you can say this new men, not new men, but selected men, right? Selected men. From there, what else can we do? No, this tab is not active at that point. Let's save this one first. So we are saving this data. We just Control S and save this data in that particular format. Let's save first, then we restart our software. So save. Let's try to restart it again. So this is our data. Click on analyze, then multiple response, define a variable. Hey, we have a problem here. When you write name on the variable, on this variable, ukiandika name, this tab must be active now so that you can add to the multiple response sets. And let me try with another data here. Let us try using the data. My machine is hanging, I don't know why. My machine is becoming slow and slow, I don't know the reason. My machine is loaded, just a minute, then we continue. Hey, my machine is hanging. I don't know the reason why, but let's give it some minutes. Frinda, umefika wapi?
Yes.
Umefika wapi?
Following.
Aufanye practice?
No, do it later.
Okay. Okay. Let me try to import some data here. Then we can continue. Okay, this is the kind of data that I was talking about. So, for example, suppose that we want to have a column to do analysis on zeros and one. This is NCD. Let me show you what is What do you mean by NCD? On this variable called NCD, we have defined data such that okay, this was analysis done somewhere, and 0 means false statement, and 1 means true. So this was a questionnaire that was answered by some people. Do they have knowledge on these non-communicable diseases? Yes or no. So it is true if they have the knowledge, and false if they don't have that particular knowledge. That is NCD and not NCD. So we can do those analysis on these three variables, right? So click on analyze, then multiple response, then we define the multiple responses, right? We want to have these three values here, and we are using 1 for the true values, and let's say this is n knowledge on NCD. Knowledge on NCD. So we cannot. Then you click on add. Add. Then we have a multiple response set. Then you click close, right? You click close. When you click on analyze and go to the multiple response, you will notice that frequencies and cross tabulations now are active, so you can click them, right? You can click them. Another thing, we have okay, let's continue with the presentation, then we'll check how we do that analysis. From there we can run frequencies and cross tabulations on those MRQ. So you just click on analyze, then multiple response, then click on frequencies, right? Click on frequencies. After clicking on frequencies, you will notice that on multiple response sets, we have the knowledge about the NCD. You bring it on this table. You just click on that arrow, then click OK. Click OK. What do we have? We have 331 valent numbers, right? Percentage of 1 is 98.5. The percentage of true or ones, right? So out of 331, we have 315 they have knowledge about the NCD. That is 1, right? That is 1. So these are simple descriptive statistics, non-descriptive frequency table, right, for the knowledge multiple response sets. So all these three variables zilikuwa na 828 variables, 828 cases, right? And from those cases, true or ones, we had 281 from leading killer. What we mean by 1 from leading killer is this one here. Leading killer, right? We have ones and zeros. And remember, 1 represents true and 0 represents false. So we have true cases. We have true cases that are 281. 281. Remember, the dichotomous group is tabulated, using 1, using the value of 1. So using the value of 1. So that is how we calculate a frequency of multiple response case. Now, suppose we want to have dichotomous group that is tabulated at value 0. We repeat the same process, but instead of picking 1, we pick 0. Let's see how we do it. You click on Analyze, then Multiple Response. We define another one, right? So we are defining from these 3 again, but we are defining who picked first. So instead of 1, we use 0. So this is first. That is first. So you click on and so we have the first statement here. Click on close and try to run frequencies for that new variable. So when you click on frequencies, you have now room to pick the multiple response set that you want to use. So click on this one, bring it back, and bring the first set on this other side, and you just click on OK. From there we get the answer. So we have added the 35 force statement, and from those 135 we have 21 from NCD, we have added 4 from not NCD, we have 55 from leading killers. So total cases are 180 plus 828. Those values must present all your cases in those 3 variables. So do you have any question? Any question up to that point? Any question? Yes, Mr. George will watch. Do you have any question?
No, I'm just following up
Okay.
in the class.
That is on MRQ. Cross tabulation using the MRQ, you just click on Analyze Multiple Response. Instead of frequencies, you just pick the crosstab and okay, let's try to do it. Click on Analyze Multiple Response, then go to Frequencies. Then we are going to pick our 3 to be on our NCD, right? Remember, in cross tabulation you must have what? You must have okay, just a minute. We are picking multiple response sets, sindio? Tunaiweka kwa row, then you can pick any value that you want to compare with, right? Let's compare it with countries. For example, in my data set, I have countries somewhere. Let me check. Let's use the online platforms to be our column. Then we define the range. Minimum or knowledge is from 1. You can pick any values, but any values that are defined within your data. Then you click on OK. Let's see what we have. Remember, our minimum value was 0 and the maximum value was 1. So we have count of NCD per platform. Per platform. In our platform, we have WhatsApp and Facebook. Hebu tuone zilikuwa ngapi? What our platforms zilikuwa how many? Let's see. I've picked just 2, so let's give maximum number of seats. So we cross tabulate. So we reset everything. Then we bring this here. From there we pick the platforms and define values to range from 1 to 7 so that we have more number of platforms in our output. So we have knowledge on NCD. These are ones. Are they ones or zeros? 135, they are zeros, right? So we can tell that people who use WhatsApp, they don't have idea about non-communicable disease. They were 13, right? They were 13. So there.
Hello, Bernard, was that question really a multiple response question?
Yes.
The one on NCD, like they could pick even all of them.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, let me check. Okay. I thought like that was a single, like you can only pick one of the answers.
But you don't have the question. So this one is for demonstration, right?
Oh, you are using that for demonstration.
Yeah.
I think that example that is in the notes could make sense for them to understand, for the students to understand some other parts. Other than, yeah, we can use this.
Let me check.
Yeah. Did you create this example? Like did you create the data, like those farming, non-farming?
Yeah, we have the data for this one.
Oh yeah, maybe you work with this.
Okay, let me check.
I think everyone, like, you can just create that data, like that one that is in the notes. If you have not created, like, if anybody has not created like that data, then you can. Priska, have you created that dummy data? Priska, Frida, George, who has created the dummy data? Hello, Frida.
Yes.
Have you created the dummy data?
Not really.
Yes.
Not yet.
Why?
I'm having problem with my SPSS.
What's happening in the SPSS?
I want my laptop cleaned up so it wouldn't install again, but I'll take care of it.
Uh, okay. And Priska or Brianna.
Hey guys,
Yes, Priska.
I'm straining to hear because of rain.
Uh-huh.
It's raining this side. Yeah.
No, but that is data that you can just read within, like you can see it within the notes and create it. Brianna, are you also struggling to hear?
Si hata nimeingia sijui ni nini naendelea.
Right.
Now you see what is happening. George,
Yes.
have you created that data?
No, I was just following the class. I wanted to practice with the software tomorrow.
Why will that be the case? Well, you can. Okay, let's get to your SPSS and create that data, because like this part about analysis of multiple response question, it has very key points that you should learn and even now apply it to different kinds of data sets. So that one is more straightforward for you to learn so many things about. So create that data, whatever the tutor did. Maybe you can show what where you are, like that data that you created, Bernard. So you can create it on your own, like just create some data and yeah. So I think maybe you didn't, Bernard, you did not create it correctly in this case, because to analyze for you to analyze a multiple response question, like somebody is supposed to pick more than can pick more than one answer, then you turn all the answers to be like a variable. So, for example, you can move to the variable view. Um, so, variable view. So, source of income, it should not be source of income. Rather, the responses that they are supposed to pick becomes like a variable. So, you can create like a variable like farming. And then when it comes to values, it is one if
One
selected
and
and
zero.
zero if not selected. Yeah. So you can create like variable farming. No, in this number three.
Mm.
Yeah. So farming, and maybe under values it becomes so farming and farming. No, use underscore. That one is not going to
Oh,
use underscore, not hyphen.
the other one
Uh,
was
the other is remittances. You can just clear remittances. The other one was, what was the other value?
from employment.
Yeah, formal employment. So formal employment. So for a multiple response where somebody is supposed to be picking more than one value, you can pick one, you can pick two. All the answers that they are supposed to pick now becomes like you recreate them to become like a variable. So maybe under the label is like, is this your main source of income? So there's under the label, so maybe something else you can write. So farming, so you change the values to, under farming it's one if it is selected, zero if not selected. You can even be using like zero if two if selected, one if not selected. Yeah. So but just use one and zero. It's so one if it is selected, zero if it is not selected. you can reduce the number of decimals to 0. That is why it is appearing. No, the under the section of decimals, this other side, the upper part.
Ngoja niweke hii kwanza.
So you're using, okay, so 0 if it is selected. So if somebody selects that they are doing the non-farming is their source of income, it is shown by 0. If somebody selects remittances as their source of income, it is shown by 0. So 0 means that it's selected. Yeah, so George, Brianna, Frida, Priska, you can also continue and create like you are. Can you go back to these values under farming? Oh, okay. Just continue. One not selected. You can go back to the values under farming. I think there is something you wrote. There, you need to space that one. So one not selected, it is not spaced. Yeah, so basically these are the responses that people should be having. So for a multiple response question, there is no way that it can be defined in SPSS unless you change the values. So you can create a dummy data around these things. You can create up to maybe number 20. So yeah, then we continue. So you can delete that source of income but retain gender. That's the first source of income, delete it and but retain that gender because you can use it for even cross tabulation.
Okay, now let's continue. I hope you have created this kind of data now. So let's define ones in these responses now. So you just click on analyze, then define multiple. So we are defining from farming, blah 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 blah, up to this point. So we are going to pick only one for those. Okay, let's pick for those selected 0. So then this is our
Income source. No, you can the name of the question will be
income source.
underscore.
Label inaweza kaa. Then you can close, right?
Yeah, so for that section, if you have many multiple response questions, you can define them over and over again. Yeah. So this is just one set of multiple response question. The farming, non-farming, remittances, formal employment, they are coming from one question that we initially had. So if you have maybe 4 multiple response questions, you define them at that place, and I go to analyze and then down multiple response, and then you define whatever you want to define.
Oh yeah, thank for the correction. So you can run the frequencies on this table, on this data. You just click on multiple response. So after defining the multiple response set, you realize that frequencies and cross tabulations will now be active. So you can do something here. So let's click on frequencies and move this multiple response set from this box to this one, and try to see how many selected, right? So we have 19 selections, right? And from those 19, 10 they have selected farming, non-farming they are 9, remittance 9, and formal employment they have selected 9, and this brings a total of that's 7. That's 7. So. And even if you run a normal frequency, descriptive statistics, frequencies, then let's run farming and see what we will get. No, this will not make sense. So the farming,
It does.
yeah,
It makes sense.
it makes sense because 10 here is this one. It means we had 20 valid cases, right? We had 20 valid cases, and from these 20, half of them selected 0 and half of them selected 1. So it's the same. Even if you run for farming, for non-farming, remittance, and formal employment, let's see. Let's run this one. So yeah, so these are 9s. The selected 9, selected 9, selected 9, selected 10. So they are the same values that we have here. So that's how we analyze the response, multiple response question.
Now, just maybe go back to that. In normal cases, like that is like to the students. In normal cases, the output section. In normal cases, if you were to analyze a multiple response question, you'll have those numerous tables. If you don't go to that define your multiple response, and so you'll have like 4 or 5 tables. But when you define the multiple response question, you'll have just one single table. For example, this one, which is showing us like the income source, frequencies, farming, non-farming, remittances, and formal employment. So 10 people out of 20 selected farming. And there's something you have not talked about, this percent and percent of cases, which is also
okay. Percent and percent of cases. A percentage here is for these values of n. So for these values of the sample is itself. And the percentage of cases, it means that 52% of the total from farming now, they are the ones who selected farming. See there. So from this one, uh,
So, so 52.6% is 10 out of the valid selection. So the number of valid selection is 19 because one is missing. So 10 out of 19
oh
gives you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
52.6.
yeah. That's the reason why.
And then for the 27%, it is 10 out of 37. So 10 out of a total of 37 people uh, gives you the 27% that is here. So percent is 10 out of all the people who selected something. So 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, 37. So 10 out of 37 times 100 is giving you 27%. For you to get percent of cases is the selections over the total number of respondents. Total number of respondents that selected something is 19. So 10 out of 19, 52.6.
Yeah. So the other one was crosstab. You just click on analyze multiple response and we run now cross tabulation of the income source versus gender. See there? So we have gender on our column, right? Then we define our minimum gender was gender zilikuwa na which values 1 and 2, right? Let's see. Yes, so 1 and 2. So click on analyze multiple response crosstabs, income source, bring on that part. Then this on column define values from 1 to 2. From 1 to 2. Click on continue and you have your gender cross tabulation for gender. So you have males, females, and total. We have from farming 4 males, 6 female. From non-farming we have 4 and 5. Remember, this analysis was for who selected, right? Where selection was done. So that is it. Which is the other presentation that the other thing that we have to cover. Hmm. Okay, for linear regression analysis, I request we continue with this tomorrow because I'm traveling at 8:30, so I'm going to Nairobi. So I request we continue from linear regression analysis. It will take just some minutes before we
There's
cover.
that exercise that the students can do under linear regression. Just go back. Though there's some things in multiple response that has not been done. You'll do that tomorrow. But there's this exercise in linear regression. This one like this. No, no, just go back.
This
Slide number 9. Yeah, so where you can do this regression between years of education and earnings, just to try to understand if the number of years you spend learning can predict your earning, can predict. So the more you take in school, does it mean that the more you take learning, the more time you take maybe learning or studying, will automatically translate to an increase in income or something? Yeah, so and you can read through the notes and see, because the notes, I think Bernard prepared them in a way that they are really understandable. So even so you can do this, but there's a part of multiple response that I've seen it's not covered, but you can do this, then tomorrow you'll start from that multiple response. So in class, the first thing you'll have to present is your result on that regression and your conclusion, whether like the years of education predicts the predicts your earning. So Priska, Frida, George, Brianna, do that and present it the first thing in class tomorrow.